and welcome to the Chrissy B Show. Well, tonight's show is all about growing old together. What is the secret to long-lasting love? Many couples who've been happily married for a while have different tips on what makes their love stay alive. And tonight, we'll be speaking to different couples who'll be sharing their experiences with you and what makes their relationship work. My guests tonight are Bobby and Margaret Smith, authors of One Love, Two Colours, The Unlikely Marriage of a Punk Rocker and His African Queen, which I love the title, it's brilliant. And also Jenny and Nigel Heath, relationship coaches and authors of Let's Talk Love. And of course, my very own sweetheart, Michael B, who's also going to be joining me to talk about the issues that we used to have in our relationship. If you want to get in touch at any point during the show to share your views, you can tweet Chrissy B Show or Facebook The Chrissy B Show. You can also call 020-7686-6300. And if you want more information at any point about this show, you can visit this website, chrissybshow.tv. So let's introduce our first couple, Bobby and Margaret Smith. Hello, thank you for joining us.
Hello.
How are you both?
No, we're fine, thank you.
Yeah?
Yes.
Good. So tell us about your relationship. How did the two of you actually meet?
Oh. Well, it was many years ago. Oh, it seems like 20 years ago, 25 years even.
How long have you been together?
Been married for 15 years now.
15, okay.
And we've known each other for about 18 years. And we first met each other at work at the time.
What were your first impressions of one another?
Oh dear, I was a bit worried because before she joined the department I was working at, we were told she was a bit of a troublemaker. Really? Very much, yeah, so I was on my guard before I met her. Oh. However, within a few weeks I realised that this little pocket bundle of fun was actually quite a nice person to be with. And
people mean at work?
Yeah, they are indeed, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
And what were your first impressions of Bobby?
Oh, when I first met Bobby, I thought it was weird because he had two different colour of socks on. He didn't iron his clothes. Yeah. He looked painfully thin.
Have you fed him? Have you fattened him up now?
Yes.
To see it.
You might disagree though, but I have actually done that.
Yeah. So you didn't even know about it, did you?
Peace of mind, actually, didn't it?
Peace of mind? With you? Oh dear.
Yeah. So I actually thought it was strange, but it's very, very, very charming. And very nice and loving. And that's kind of took over my first impression of him.
Okay. So when did it actually develop into sort of like an attraction between the two of you? When did that happen? And who liked who and what happened?
Well, it was quite embarrassing really for my colleagues because Margaret chased me for about 6 months. She was bombarding me with emails. Please, Bobby, come out with me.
That's
make my life complete. So.
How did it really happen, Margaret?
Okay. Well, I used to get to work early, like 7 o'clock, and I used to be an early bird, and we used to just talk, and we were friends. And I don't know. One day I just said, do you want to come to church with me? He said, oh, I'll try it. And then from there, we just spend more time together, and from there, it just led to him asking me out on a proper date.
Did you like him at that point when you asked him to go to church with you, or were you just sort of
We were just friends. We were just friends, but I think you kind of, the more I spent time with him outside work, the more I realised he was this feeling, you know. I was like, oh gosh, it's really lovely. Oh. It's lovely.
Did you feel the same, Bobby, at that point?
With time, yes, I got a bit of a tingle all over my body, and I thought I'd better do something about it. So I took Margaret to the football to watch Wolverhampton Wanderers, and that was it, really.
How
romantic.
It was love.
Yeah, it was actually.
Gosh, do you like football?
No.
There you go. So that was was that your first date, or like proper official date, or was it like?
No. Well, I went to see a film, Rob Roy, as well. That tells you how many years ago it was. But yeah, things like that, really.
Okay. So when you did get together, how did your friends and family react to you?
Well, I didn't actually tell my parents until we nearly, get to the stage where we were going to get married. But very few friends of mine actually knew that I was seeing Bobby. And they were right. Obviously, I told them, the ones who were right, I told them first. Yeah. But later on, as we announced our engagement, some of them a little bit funny.
Yeah. Did they have like their own sort of expectations from you, like you're going to marry? So you're from Nigeria?
I'm from Nigeria.
So they expect you to marry like a nice Nigerian man and settle down and do the...
Oh, yes. My mum had, she actually dreamt of me marrying someone, from where I come from, and it was quite disappointing, really. But she did try to kind of persuade me to think carefully.
Oh, that happened to me as well.
All right.
Yeah, same thing.
you know.
But then when she met me, she realised that she was incorrect, and that this glorious James Bond sort of figure that I am, and I won her over.
I can see why.
Well, actually, I mean, my mum met him later, and she was really fond of him, isn't it? And all the idea that, you're going to marry this person and you're going to lose your culture, and because my mum had the idea that an English person can't be free, or you can't just go into their house without, you know, telling them, so give them a lot of time so they know you're coming, and she felt that she would be shut out.
Restricted.
So she obviously was worried about that, but as she got to know Bobby, she realised it wasn't like that. You know, it's just a lovely guy.
So tell us how the two of you work things out, sort of like culture-wise, food-wise, the kind of things you eat. How do you deal with all of that? Because there must be some differences.
Don't get me started on the food. Most people, Nigerians have got this love of food. Unfortunately, I do not share their love of their food because I can't stand Nigerian food. I'm sorry to say it. That's true. I like my mashed potatoes.
That's true, actually.
Yeah. So what do you cook then?
Oh, gosh.
You don't cook for me anyway. I do the cooking.
Well,
do you share the cooking then?
Yeah, we do share the cooking. Okay. So it kind of like sort of what I call boring food. So potatoes and...
Put it this way, my idea...
We're not offending people tonight.
My idea of spice is gravy.
Oh. They're laughing. And then my husband giggling.
It's true. I just don't like anything spicy, anything hot. No, don't like anything hot apart from.
But it's not caused a problem, right?
No, it's not.
Because you kind of work things out. You worked out a compromise.
Yeah. To be quite honest, food is food. You know, you enjoy it. It's not really. It doesn't really own a lot of attachment. You know, and I don't really attach a lot of meaning to food. Food is what you do when you're hungry. You know, you eat and you. It's
not a reason you get married, is it?
No, it's not. So
but that's nice that you're saying that, because for some people it is a big issue. Because the food is such a cultural thing.
Yeah.
That, you know, it's the person's even identity. But there are couples that do allow it to become a problem. But like you're saying, it's just to fill your stomach, really, and to take the hunger away. So you don't allow it to become an issue.
It's not to say that when family or friends come over to our house and they see that what's going on here, two different kind of food being cooked, some do make comment. But for me, it doesn't
the more food, the merrier.
It doesn't know any attachment at all. It's just food.
We're multiculturalism live in action, you could say, with our food. Neither culture is dominated by the other.
Okay, so you've written a book, One Love, Two Colours. So what was the idea behind that?
Well, our motivation for the book was really to show mixed marriages in a more positive light, because we felt for some time that the media tends to focus on the problems of mixed marriages and not the actual enjoyment. And we've both got more out of marrying someone from a different culture than we may have if I'd married some punk rocker girl and Margaret had married some Yoruba man. Because we feel that society, we need to look at the similarities that we have as people rather than the differences. Because the similarities we all share are far stronger than the differences. And
I think the differences make things more interesting, as I said on a previous show, because you do learn about different things and you know, the background of the person. It's just more, I think it makes things more exciting sometimes, in some cases.
It does actually,
But not with the food.
Not with the food. Maybe she'll turn your mind around for that. Because so you cover things like hobbies, arguments. Now tell us about that. You've got a whole chapter on that.
Yeah, we have a whole chapter on arguments, because we look at the way men and women, the various strategies they have to argue things out. Like most men, I'm a perfect example of, I would retreat maybe from an argument, and whereas my wife would want it all out immediately, very emotional, hot-tempered.
Because we have to talk about things, Bobby. Yes. No, we can't hold things in.
The problem with that is that it brings everything down to the age-old argument of a woman's hormones and a man's ego. This is the crux of most marriages.
What are your maybe your top tips on how to deal with conflicts that come up in a relationship?
Go to the pub.
Well,
apart from that, not escaping from the problems, but actually dealing with them. What do you think?
Actually, I learned from my own experience, because, like Bobby said, I just like to get it out in the open and go, don't walk away from me, we've got to talk about it. But obviously, as time went on, I realised that wasn't a good strategy. So I'll just leave it for a while, think about it, and try and go back and we come back to you, and then we talk about what exactly. I try to own my part, so to speak. I try to say, well, this is how I feel when you do, or when you said, or when that's happening. So, I found that very good.
Well, women and men are different. It's just finding a way that works for the both of you to get over the argument and go back to your loving relationship.
Bobby, what do you love about Margaret? It's about putting him on the spot. I didn't.
Oh no, she's a lovely bundle of fun, and she always sees the best in people, and has got a natural empathy for people, and just things like that really. And she's got a very uplifting personality, you could say.
Okay, I'm going to ask you the same question,
right?
Yeah.
I think the best qualities I've seen is the fact that you're very devoted, and you got, whereas I'm all over the place, you're all together, and that strength in you.
You're supposed to say my music.
Well,
I love your punk rock music.
Not your music, but the strength and the devotion and the love that I feel that you gave me has been.
Strength. I was only 8.5 stone when I met you. I was a little skinny guy.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, but in our book, we wanted also to explode some of the myths that people have of black women, white men relationships.
Like what? Let's get a bit controversial now.
No,
we've got a couple of minutes left.
We've found that for a lot of people, black women who go out with white men are deemed as chasing money and things like that, whereas white men who have black girlfriends or wives are deemed as chasing exotica. And I find it so offensive that black women are deemed exotic. They've been in the country for centuries, and yet some aspects of the media particularly still view black women as exotic, and they're not, they're just women.
Yeah. Okay. So it's great that the two of you get along so well, and you are an example to a lot of couples. So if you are considering like an interracial marriage, you do have to weigh up things, because like I said on a previous show with my husband, if you're very attached to your family and your family is your world and everything, and they're not going to agree with it, it is going to put pressure on your relationship. Absolutely. But if you can deal with that, I would say go for it, because although you do have your differences, but you have a lot of things in common, right? Absolutely. And you have fun and everything like that. So thank you so much for joining us and sharing that with us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very much.
So if you want as well to participate at any point, you can email us on chris@chrissybshow.tv. I'm just going to read you a couple of emails that we've had through. Let me just get them here. So we asked the questions: what keeps your relationship going? What's the secret to your happiness? This one's from Sandra, and she says, I know my husband better than himself, and so I always make a point of putting a smile on his face by doing what he likes. And most importantly, I bite my tongue every time I'm about to express my anger. One wrong word at the wrong time would mean World War III. Okay, thank you for that, Sandra. And we've also got Jajula, who says, communication is key, that's a fact. Understanding each other's needs, likes and dislikes. This encourages tolerance and of course, plenty of making up time. And then let's read one more. This is from Francesca, and she says, my relationship works because there is understanding. We have to understand that we are different and must love and respect these differences. Also, my relationship works because we have learned to communicate and express ourselves. Whilst we have done this, we can move forward and face tomorrow's challenges together as we fight as one. Gosh, that sounds quite poetic. It's very nice. Okay, so after the break, I'll be joined by Jenny and Nigel Heath, relationship coaches, and they're going to be talking to us about their own relationship and also how they help couples. So join us after this break. Welcome back to the Chrissy B Show. We're speaking about what makes love last and growing old together. So just before we introduce our next couple, I just want to read a couple more emails from viewers that are sharing with us what makes their own relationship work. And this one's from Helen, and she says, my secret is self-love, first of all, and then respecting my husband. If your man feels respected, he will treat you like a queen. Interesting comment. And we also have one from Eunice. She says, our relationship works because we sacrifice ourselves every day to please each other. And we've also got one from Audrey. She says, what makes my relationship work is mutual love, respect, trust, and communication. Making sacrifices, not with calculated intentions or expecting your spouse to give anything in return. So I think that's quite an important one, because, there may be some couples or one party that will do certain things just because they want something back. And I think at the end of the day, your partner will be able to know that you're doing that. They can tell. So you need to do things naturally, like to give without expecting anything back. And I think afterwards, after a while, naturally that person will also want to give back to you if they are a little bit selfish, because let's face it, some people, they're so used to being single, then they get together with someone and, you know, they're trying to adjust to being with someone and, you know, giving to that person as well. But I think that comes with time as well. Let's just read one more. Maria Jimmy, she says, 3 key things that makes our relationship work are respect for each other, trust, and to please your partner. In other words, avoid doing what annoys your partner. Although I think some people do it on purpose just to get back at them a little bit, but let's not talk about that. How come it's only women emailing? What about the guys as well? You can email on chris@chrissybshow.tv. So let's introduce our next couple, and they are Nigel and Jenny Heath. Hello and welcome to the show.
Hello, Chrissy.
So how long have you two been together then?
About 22 years, something like
22
that.
years.
Yeah.
Wow. So you must be doing something right to be together that long.
Yes.
Well, we keep trying to get it right.
Right. It's just true. It's like you never sort of get it perfect, do you? No matter how long you're married.
You have to be prepared to keep working at it.
Yeah. So can you tell us a bit about how you met?
Yes, we were both married before and in quite long-term relationships, and we went to a club in Southampton for single people or divorced people or widowed people who wanted some sort of social life. So it wasn't a dating club, it was a place where you could go, so if you wanted to play badminton you could join other people, or if you wanted to go for a walk you could do it with other people.
Were you kind of hoping you'd meet someone though, or you just going there just to...
Probably that was there as well, yes. And some people were definitely there to see who they could meet. But it's much more about, it's a lonely place being between relationships, and to be with other people who understand, whereas your married friends don't understand and your single friends don't understand, but other people in the same boat, you can be there and not have to talk about things and just be okay.
Were you a bit afraid maybe to meet someone new because of what happened to both of you in the past, or were you maybe like ready for a new relationship?
I think it's about caution. I think we were definitely feeling quite cautious, and we've both got children, so it's not just ourselves that you have to consider. You're thinking about them as well.
Yeah.
But then I have to say that certainly for me, when I met Nigel, after a while, I think I probably threw caution to the wind.
Really? you swept you off your feet then, isn't it?
There was something about being friends first, but then suddenly it hit me that what I was feeling was more than friendship.
Oh. So I'll get all like funny. And how about you, Nigel? Did you feel the same when you started speaking to Jenny?
Yes, clearly. I think that what the previous relationship told me was that I needed to be clearer about what I was looking for in terms of a partner and a wife. And
make sure you were compatible.
Yes, that's right. And to understand for myself, because I felt my first marriage had happened for all the wrong reasons rather than the right reasons, to do with family pressures that you were talking about with Bobby and Margaret, and did with Michael and your family. And so
it's so important to get married for the right reasons.
Yes, that's right. So I got married because everybody else thought we should get married. It lasted 12 years, but
well, you came away with the experience.
And children.
Yeah, and children.
Yes.
So tell us what you both do, because you're actually helping other couples as well, aren't you?
That's right. We work together as marriage coaches or relationship coaches. So we see couples, we work together with couples. So there's 4 of us in the room together. So there's a balanced energy between the genders. And we help them to deal with their unique relationship at whatever stage it's at. So we have no formula to the approach. It's about finding out what's happening in their relationship. And again, Bobby and Margaret were talking about similarities. And a lot of what we look at is if people have similar values, things they hold important in life, then the differences become less significant and add spice to things. Whereas if they have different values, different moral codes, it makes a relationship pretty much heavy weather.
So you can choose what you really notice about a person, can't you? Because obviously everyone has mistakes. Everyone has things that annoy the other person, but we're the ones that choose, okay, am I going to focus on those, or am I going to focus on the good points about my partner? Because it just makes it so much easier when you just focus on the good stuff.
I think that's one of the things that we often say to people. People get stuck on just focusing on the negatives, and the next thing you know, all they're seeing is what's wrong. instead of what's right about people. And quite often what we're doing is helping people to notice again what they really love about each other and to keep saying it. You know, one of the people who emailed into you said about how important it was to show admiration and respect. Yeah. And I think that's absolutely right. We forget to show our partner that's what we feel about them.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we've been married so long now, I'm not going to bother saying this anymore because they know already, they should know,
well,
but it's not.
People have said to us, well, I'm still here, aren't I?
Yeah.
Or they say,
I married you, didn't I?
Yeah. I told you 20 years ago that I love you, nothing's changed.
Yeah, but people need to hear it, don't they?
Yes.
Certainly what happens is that when we first get together with someone, there's plenty of positive strokes going on. We shower each other with compliments, we say nice things, we touch a lot, and squeaking the toothpaste from the middle of the tube is such an endearing habit. And then it becomes the thing that annoys you most. Very quickly we sort of flick from being nice and loving about someone to going, oh, I just wish you'd do this now, or here's another nag I've got for you. And we forget to do the nice things. We fall into the complaints.
Would you say that was like maybe the number one issue that couples come to you with?
I think they don't come with those sort of things. They don't come. They tend to come because they're arguing a lot and they're stuck in a particular argument, or they come because they think that they aren't compatible. And it's only in unpacking what's happening for them that we start to say, well, this is the sort of thing that's happening. You're either maybe not showing how much you love each other, or we may say to them, you're not really communicating very well. You think that you're communicating, but in fact, you're talking over each other.
Yeah, that's right. And the basis for your book, you've written a book called Let's Talk Love. So let's talk us through that. Why did you write the book?
It's a really, really simple idea and something that we've taught our clients for quite a long while before I suddenly thought that this is something that we could put together quite simply in a book. And it's all around the fact that a lot of people came to us and said, well, I don't say I love you anymore because, you know, what do those 3 words mean? They're nothing, or as I said, I've told you before. So, and some people find it really difficult to say, or alternatively, their partner.
Do men find it more difficult to say? Do you think, than women?
Yeah, I think generally what men find is that it's too woolly. It doesn't seem to mean anything.
Yes.
Okay,
and while we know that women like to hear it and be told they're loved and to know they're loved, it's a I love you. Yeah, well, so what? So the book goes into specifics. What is it that you love? You know,
I can read a couple of things that you've actually got here. So, for example, I love the way you always see the best in others, which is, I think, something that Nigel mentioned before. Not Nigel, sorry, Bobby mentioned before, wasn't it? That's something that he liked about Margaret. What I love about you is you are a good judge of character. You aren't fooled by pretense. So it's like there's different like phrases in here that you can show certain things that you can say that will show that your love and appreciation. So it doesn't just have to be I love you.
No, the book's in several chapters. So we start with the easy stuff, which is physical, because usually that men can manage those sorts of things. No, I love your beautiful eyes. I love your curvy shape. Those sorts of things. And then we have other sections that go into what I love about you. Most of them wouldn't say that, probably just go core. I love your curvy shape. That's right. Yeah. And I quite like your eyeshadow. Doesn't really cut it. It's got to be I love. That you say in there, and then there's a section on the bedroom, and then there's other things too that we can do, and then towards the end of the book,
I should say one here.
Oh yeah,
because this is really important. Actually, there's a whole section on humour and the things that you find funny together.
Yeah.
Because I actually think one of the other things that's really important in a relationship is that sense of fun, still being able to laugh at things, especially when things aren't going quite as well as you'd like them to.
That's true.
And that's definitely your strength, isn't it? I can take myself a bit seriously. Yeah. Nigel reminds me to have fun, and that's, after all, that's what girls want, isn't it?
That's really good. And what is it maybe that makes, would you say, the number one thing that makes your relationship work, apart from because obviously you are a bit different, because you're obviously more humorous as
a good repair mechanism. We argue as much as the next couple, and probably more, because in what we've learned in our job in helping others is very much more about our own communication styles, which are quite different. We have often we talk to people about the challenges they have in speaking the same language. We don't speak the same language at all. We have different.
Are men and women really that different then?
No, it's not just that. It's just that we have. I'm very much what's called internally referenced. So if someone says something to me, I check it out inside, and if I agree, then it's okay. Whereas Jenny's much more externally referenced. So if someone else says something, that's okay. She doesn't check it out inside. Yeah. So we have a great difference there. So we communicate differently, and there are a number of them. We've probably got more differences than most of the couples we see, which cause us to have miscommunication, and therefore we have to be able to repair. And a good repair mechanism is vital. Because we are different people. We're not clones of each other. That difference is part of the spark of what makes our relationship fun and good. But it's how we repair it that really is the important thing.
And I think the other thing for me that really makes our relationship work, knowing, as Nigel said, that it's not always that easy, is a deep down security that we're always there for each other. And one of the things that I find most difficult is when we see couples come to us and they use these ultimatums as a threat. If you don't do this, I'm off. Or that's, and you hear that a lot. And we call it the nuclear option, you know, because they're kind of pressing that red button that says, unless you do what I want, unless you do this, unless you change, whatever, then the relationship's over.
I think you lose trust in that person as well, because you just don't know if they're going to be around.
No.
Whereas, you know, especially if the couple's marriage, and the wedding vows is for better or for worse, isn't it? So it's like, if we are going through something bad, let's sort it out, let's talk about it, let's get help.
Yes, and having that security that you're going to put that effort in and sort it out, for me, that's the biggest thing. The fact that, despite his differences, Nigel, he's in there with me, aren't you?
That's
we
right.
sort things out together.
Yeah. And I think it's really nice that you did say that you argue just as much as the next couple, because maybe some people say, well, you know, we're advising other couples, but, you know, maybe we can't say that we argue. But that's nice, that's endearing, because you're normal human beings and people see that, and, you know, they're more likely to come get advice from you, because, you know, you go through these things. And every couple does argue, but what's important is the way we deal with the arguments and the differences.
The other key thing is that the reason we choose a partner is because we think that partner is going to be there for us. We all need someone who's going to be there for us.
And to make us number one.
Make us number one, that's right. And whilst our parents will give us unconditional love, they've got their own lives to lead, and they won't always be there for us. And once we're grown up enough to leave, they go, well, sort yourself out.
Yes. So I'll ask you the same question as the previous couple. What do you love about your husband?
I love about Nigel the fact that he is always willing to work at things with me. It means so much to me that despite sometimes there being difficulties, you're always there.
I'm welling up here, okay. and the same for you, Nigel.
Well, what I love about Jenny is her commitment to keep working at things. So I'm aware that I might get away with stuff, but actually she keeps me to the mark. You know, she challenges me if I'm behaving in a way that really isn't very good. And actually I admire her enormously and love her for that.
Because who else is going to tell you, really? That's what I say to my husband sometimes. You know, when I say something, you might kind of think, oh, you know, why are you telling me that? But then I'm saying, who else is going to tell you? No one's going to sort of come up to you and say, oh, you're doing this wrong, or you said the way you said that didn't sound right. That's the lovely thing about couples, that you can tell each other anything normally.
I also love the way he smiles.
Aww, that's so sweet. Okay, we have reached the end of this part as well, so thank you so much for sharing everything with us.
Okay.
And if you want more information about our guests, the details will be up on the website, chrissybshow.tv. So if you do want more information, you can also visit the website. I just said that, didn't I? Never mind. chrissybshow.tv. So after the break, I'll be joined by my lovely husband, and we're going to be sharing some of the things that we went through as a couple and how we deal with problems as well. So join us after this break. Welcome back to the Chrissy B Show. We've already spoken to two lovely couples, and they've been sharing some of their secrets to their successful relationship. And I'm going to be speaking to my husband in just a while as well. But first, let's go to our Ladies That Lunch section. Now, I'm a firm believer in couples having a date once a week at least, because I think it's really important for couples to spend time together. There's so many things distracting us nowadays, work and all sorts of things. So it's really, really important for couples to go out and spend quality time with one another. Actually, Barbara went on this one with a friend, but never mind. Oh no, I went for this one. Oh, sorry, I went for this one with Barbara. Unfortunately, I didn't get to go with my husband, but take a look at this restaurant that we picked for this week. Hi everyone, we're outside the Commodore Bar and Grill. It's a South American restaurant. It's a gorgeous day. Finally, we've got some sunny weather in London, and we're going to go inside and check out the food. And Barbara, you're quite looking forward to this one, aren't you?
I'm very excited. I can't wait to try some real South American food.
We're going to go and actually dine with Soraya, who's the PR manager here, who also advises on the food and everything. She'll be joining us and explaining more about the food inside. So let's go and check it out.
The menu is 6 months hard work of original recipes fused between each other. I mean, it is a Peruvian dish, then we kind of Argentiniated it.
You know, it really has been thought out to be a modern twist. As I was saying, this is what you would find in a modern city in South America.
Kind of themed around the sauces. We have about 20 sauces, and then we created dishes using these sauces. And then we left some of them obviously for you to order individually. Whatever people will enjoy and say that's something different that I haven't tried before. This is a flavour that I'm not used to.
And one thing Barbara and I both noticed is the lovely decor of the restaurant. So you've got some nice wood there, these as well. These, because you also said that it gets quite busy in the evenings, so you move everything and then people dance here as well.
We do. We've got a 5 a.m. licence, which means that obviously we can party all the way through the night.
It's authentic, it's real, this is what you're going to get when you're there.
Comedor means dining room in Spanish, and what we thought of it is that we have to make it everyone's kind of South American dining room.
We've come away feeling that this is, you know, really true to the experience you'd get there, and it's a good experience. It's a great place to eat at.
I mean, we do bring our authentic South American side to everything that we do here, but in the end the customers will make it what they want it to be.
Well guys, we've had an amazing experience here at the Commodore Grill and Bar. Not only the food is amazing, but the staff are very lovely as well. And I'm not just saying it because they're standing next to me. They are genuinely friendly, very helpful, and will answer all your questions about the menu and about the restaurant. So thanks so much guys for everything. Thanks for your hospitality. Thanks Barbara for joining me again on Ladies at Lunch. And we'll see you again next time on Ladies at Lunch. Okay, so now I'm joined by my lovely husband, Michael Boudram. Hello. You all right? Yeah. Thank you for joining me. So we're going to speak a bit about our relationship because for the viewers that don't know, we had a very, very rough start, I would say. The first few years of our relationship was quite terrible. Mm-hmm. Do you want to explain or shall I?
Go on, you can.
Okay, I'll start. You can just jump in. So what happened, we got together, but at the time I had severe depression, panic attacks. You know, I wasn't myself. I used to lose my temper very easily. I would lash out. I would explode. I would hit my husband and my boyfriend at the time. So things weren't really good between us because I think it was mainly because of the problems that I had. You had your own issues as well, didn't you? Yeah. Do you want to explain?
Well, I was a very moody person, and I was very selfish.
You can tell the viewers.
I was very selfish,
Yeah.
and of course, a moody, selfish person clashing with someone with depression, panic attacks. It was just going downhill all the time. We're arguing every single day. That was the thing.
It was
nearly
terrible.
every single day, and we would make up, and then we'll make up, and then 5 minutes later we'll be arguing over the same thing all over again, and that was like continuously. Yeah, it was a nightmare.
It was very distressing, wasn't it? Because although we loved one another so much, but we just couldn't help ourselves, right? Yeah. And I think one of the main issues, because afterwards we did get help. We got some counselling and everything, and we worked through our problems. But it was hard because we had to change a lot. And one of the main things that we were taught to do is to look at ourselves, because what we were doing, we were constantly pointing the finger at the other one. Oh, we're like this because you did this, because you're like this, and I'm not going to change until you change this. And it was literally constantly like this. I was too proud to look at my own mistakes.
I was very proud, and I was adamant that I was always right. I don't know if you thought that way, but I'm right and you have to give in to me. You have to listen to what I'm saying and agree with what I'm talking about. And, you know, imagine a battlefield. You've got two enemies at the end of a battlefield and they're throwing grenades and, you know, rockets and things like this. No one's giving in. And that's what it was like. No one was giving. We were just throwing grenades and abuse and things like that. And it didn't work. It didn't work at all until, as you said, we realized that we had to look at ourselves as individuals and see what we could work on ourselves. And I realized that I wasn't listening to her. I realized I wasn't listening to you. And I had to change that. I said to myself, I was proud. I had to realize my mistakes and actually deal with them.
So this is the thing, when you go into a relationship and you have issues of your own, it does affect your relationship, no matter how much you try to, you know, deal with it and try not to let it affect you. But I had my own issues, you had your own issues, and because of that we got into trouble. But even when we sorted out those issues, when I obviously got help for the depression, I don't have that anymore. I haven't had that for the 15 years. And you got help for your problems as well, because you came from a background of, like, the family were all alcoholics. So there was all that as well. So we both had baggage, basically. But then we sorted that out. We got help for that. You know, lives moved on. But we still had little issues, didn't we? Because we still were arguing about little things. And one of the other things that came up was that I was brought up in a family that was very, very affectionate. And by the way, we've been together how long now? Married for 14, been together for, I should know this, I'm really bad with dates.
28, 27 years we've known each other.
Yeah, okay, so we've known each other quite a while. So anyway, I was brought up in a very affectionate family. My parents always told me they loved me and always, like, you know, cuddling me and everything. Whereas in your family, there was love there, but because of all that was going on,
it wasn't expressed as
It
much.
wasn't expressed. No, Mum didn't used to tell you she loved you much then, did she?
She did at a young age, but when she went through her problems, it kind of stopped.
What about affection and stuff? You didn't get many cuddles?
Didn't get that. As a young boy, I did, but as you grow up and you go through problems, your family goes through problems. When you don't get that at the time when you do need it, then it was hard to do.
So you can imagine how it was when the two of us got together, or when, you know, we sorted out the other problems. But then we still had that issue where I was, I think, overly affectionate, wanting to hold his hand all the time and cuddle him all the time and kiss him all the time, and he's more like, you know, come on, tone it down a bit because it's too much. So I used to think, why is he being so cruel to me? How can he not want to cuddle his wife? How can he? So it was all that kind of thing. And then again, I realized one day when he actually told me, I used to get quite offended, but when he actually told me, look, we weren't even talking about the problem as such, but he just mentioned, look, I didn't really have affection as a child. I thought, oh my gosh, that's probably why he's like that with me, because he's not used to it. So I made a decision that day that I would tone it down a bit, and then we spoke about it, and he also made a decision that he would turn it up a bit.
Yeah.
So we kind of reached that compromise. And actually, since doing that, because I kind of backed down and I thought, okay, I'm not going to demand affection from him and be like all needy and everything, he actually started to become affectionate towards me. So what I actually wanted in the first place, he began to do just because I backed off. Did you realise you did that?
No, I know that I needed to change when I did say that to you. And I think I realised, I came to a conclusion that, well, we all know we are all different. Men are different from women. Bottom line. But when you're in the middle of an argument, you don't think about those things. You just want your point across. And it's like when it came to that realisation that you are different, you want, as a woman, you want attention, you want affection. And I, as a male, I don't want those things. I want my me time. As much. I want my time by myself. Me time, as I like to say. Me time. I want respect from you.
Define respect for people. Like, what do you mean you need respect?
Well,
because I know because it's something that I've heard men mention before, and also one of our viewers wrote it as well. Yeah.
Well, respect. We men, we want to provide for our homes. We want to be the one who feels that we are protecting our woman, protecting our family. And if we don't get that, if we don't feel that we're the protectors, if we don't feel that we are providers, you know, that sometimes we have the say, we make the decisions sometimes. If we don't feel that way, we don't feel like a man by our woman, then it's like you're taking away the basis or the foundation of who we are. And that can be really hurtful for a man if he doesn't feel that his woman is not respecting him and, you know, looking up to him. And I feel deep down a woman does want that. She wants someone who will protect her and take care of her and the family, etc. So if you take that away from a man, he feels like I'm less of a man. Especially in arguments
most men wouldn't say that, but I think, you know, it's not to say, obviously, because when we come to any decisions, we always discuss things together. He never sort of says to me, look, this is it, and we always discuss things together. But I think it's important that we, you know, we respect each other's opinion. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to go and do this and I don't care what you think. Because you have to come to that compromise.
I always include your opinions in anything. I'm talking about when we had the conflicts before, when I didn't feel respected. I didn't feel like you were listening to me.
Because I didn't respect you before.
So, and with a woman as well, you want the affection. You want to be taken care of. And we are not built to hug and kiss and give compliments like the previous couple said. So if you can understand that, even in the middle of a big disagreement that you're having, you can go out of the room, take a few short breaths. And I've learned that. I mean, you didn't learn that until later on, that sometimes you wanted an answer there and then. And then when I want my me time, I don't want to speak now. I'll speak if I want to later on. So I think you realise that
It's really hard to deal with.
You want answers now. We're like, so what? It's okay. And I remember not expressing, I had it here, but I didn't communicate it outside with you. So you didn't understand. You're not in my mind. You're not understanding what I'm thinking. And we men, we don't express what we're thinking up here. We think you automatically understand. It's obvious. Whereas women, they like to talk and express everything. So when we got that kind of understanding, as you said, you toned down, I toned up. I kind of, we came to an understanding. And it's like, if there is any disagreement, we can work it out. It's not like before.
That's right. And if you are going through any kind of relationship problems, don't feel ashamed or shy to go and speak to someone. If you need to speak to someone that's had more experience, or that you see, their relationship's good, or if you have to get professional help, do that, because sometimes problems come up for different reasons. There's events that happen in life that can drive a couple apart sometimes. Things come up, but there's always help for you out there. So don't give up, keep work. If you really do love each other, you're meant to be together, you're compatible, then work at the relationship, because it's great. Married life is great, isn't it? I love my husband so much. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, we have reached the end of the programme.
Already?
Yes, we have. I told you it'll fly. Okay, so that's it for today, folks. So if you do want more information, you can visit this website, chrissybshow.tv. We'll see you again next time.
Hey, Banana.
Yo, what's up?
Hey, Banana, what you doing?
Just hanging around with my bud.
True. What's up?
What's up?
Whoa, who's that?
Yo, that's Lemon.
What's up? Yo, where's Kiwi?
Hey, Kiwi.
Yo. What's up? You guys wait for me. Whoa, hold on. What's up? Yeah.